Okay, today I'm making zucchini bread. This is Teri Norsworthy, and I'm going to start off with my old-fashioned grater maybe you should call it. This is a funny story behind this one. When I first moved here, I guess it's been 30 years ago, I went to the state fair and there was a fellow demonstrating this cookware, and he asked me if he could come down and do a demonstration, and he said he'd bring all the food and cook for us for me to invite some people that might be interested in the same type of thing. So I agreed, but I told John, I said, now look, when he comes he's going to try to sell us something, but you tell him we don't need anything. And he agreed to that. So he came and he spent an hour or more preparing all kinds of things with this stainless cookware. Well, after the dinner, he set us down each one by one. All my neighbors bought a little this, a little that, and it came down to us. We sat down and the man said, okay, you've seen me demonstrate all the products. What is it that you would like? What did you like best? And John said, I want the whole kit. I want all of it. I said, no, he's just kidding. I said, don't you listen to him. He said, well, what do you want? He said, I want everything you've got. So $1,200 later, we had everything that Salad Master offered at the time. And I like this because it can go slow or fast. It has all the speeds to it. And I've never found anything to replace it, so I love it. Anyway, I'm going to get that out of the way. And we're about ready to put all this together. So to start off with, I need 3 eggs, 2 cups of sugar, a cup of vegetable oil, and a tablespoon of vanilla. So here's my sugar. I've already measured that out. I'm going to put that in first. And then I always break my eggs in a separate bowl, because if one of them is bad, you've ruined the whole batch. But as you can see, all of these are beautiful. There's my eggs. My vegetable oil, it asks for a whole cup of vegetable oil. Sounds like a lot, but oh, it's good. And a tablespoon of vanilla, which I've already pre-measured out here. So you mix this all up. I guess using a blender would be good, but I never have cared too much for a blender. I like mixing things by hand. I like getting my hands in it. So anyway, it just takes a second to get this all mixed up. You put the first 4 ingredients in and mix it till it's nice and smooth, like that. See how nice that looks? Okay. Then we add the other ingredients, which would be 2 cups of flour. Okay. I use all-purpose flour, and I don't guess it matters what brand. I just kind of buy whatever's on sale, really. Here's 1. And I think when you measure a recipe, you should measure it precisely. So I like to measure it like that. So there's my 2 cups of flour, my tablespoon of cinnamon. Then I've mixed together a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and a heaping 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder, and that's all in this little container here. Now this is a little thick for my whisk, so I'm going to go to a spoon to stir this up. And if you like cinnamon, you're going to love this bread. It makes a great coffee cake for company in the morning. our dessert after dinner. It's looking good. I fixed a couple loaves the other day, and before the evening we'd eaten our loaf, and I took a loaf to a neighbor, and he'd eaten all of his, he and his wife. So it's very tasty. So there, doesn't that look nice? Then we add 2 cups of the grated zucchini and mix that up a little bit. Now I know that it doesn't look like zucchini would go in bread, but it just takes up the flavor of the batter. It adds just great moisture to it. That's the main thing. Mix that up a little bit, not too much. Then you add a cup of chopped pecans. At least that's what we called them in the West. I know in the South they're called pecans. But you know, since I married John about 30 years ago, I've never bought any pecans. The first 15 years, John's mother supplied us with all of our pecans from their trees. Then a couple years, my brother, he brought us pecans. There you go. Now that's all there is to that. That's finished. I have my oven preheated at 350. Yeah, 350. And it says to grease and flour your pans, but I like to use this Baker's Joy. And you just spray the pan liberally, and that adds the flour and the oil already in it. Here's this one. There we go. Now all we do is add this to the pans. Put half in each one. I know it looks strange, but it's really good. And whoever's here, if it's a grandchild, I let them lick the bowl and the spoon. If they're not here, yours truly gets to lick the bowl and the spoon. There you go. And that's all there is to it. And when you're cooking it, you cook it for just about 50 to 60 minutes, but you need to have a toothpick or a wooden skewer to put into your batter or into your bread and put it in until it comes back out clean as a whistle. When it's clean, it's done. Wonderful. Anyway, there you go. Beautiful. They'll be finished in about an hour.